Hello everybody, this is Keough, back again with another training session. On this day I'm doing some dynamic effort training. I'm going to be doing some conventional deadlifts against some chains, and I'm also going to be doing some box squats against some monster mini bands. So I ended up doing 9 singles on this day with my conventional deadlift. I did 325 in bar weight. I don't know exactly what percentage that is of my 1 rep maximum, but I'd wager a guess and say it's probably around 60%. And I have 100 pounds of chains on there, so the chains aren't quite totally deloading at the top, so it's a little bit less than 100 pounds, but it's basically 100 pounds at the top. On this day, the speed felt pretty good on those conventional deadlifts. I felt pretty good about my pull, and I felt pretty good about my ability to accelerate through these deadlifts. The reason why I'm using the chains on this day is because you'll get a really variable resistance between bottom and top. It's not at all like using short bands, where the short bands will certainly tighten up, but they tighten up a lot faster. The chains that I'm using will have a sort of even accommodating resistance. In other words, they'll be deloading off the ground at an even rate, whereas if you use a short band, that short band will increase exponentially as it tightens up, and with short bands you'll be getting nothing off of the bottom. So I felt like I'd use some chains on this day instead of pulling against short bands. I am switching up my training, and Friday has become my speed day. Now normally Friday is my heavy deadlift day, but I want to switch things up. I want to start deadlifting heavy on Sundays instead, and I think that'll be better for me, because right now I'm doing really heavy squats on Tuesday. I'm doing heavy reverse band box squats off a low box on Thursday, so I think I could really use some time to recover, especially now that I'm doing more volume heavy squatting on those Tuesday sessions and on those Thursday sessions, and I'm doing more volume on my conventional deadlifting. Now here I'm doing some box squats with monster mini bands. Those monster mini bands are giving me maybe 100 pounds at the top. I don't know exactly how far I have them stretched, but I'd say about 3.5, 4 feet maybe at the very most. So I'd expect 80 to 100 pounds. The speed on these felt pretty good. Not fantastic on this day, but I felt like as I went along on this set, and this is usually a good indicator of a good session for me, I felt like my speed really increased. I was able to accelerate through these more. As you notice on my squat, I really struggle out of the hole to generate speed, but once I get moving and once I get my hips under the bar, I can really close out my squats pretty fast. So what I'm really trying to do here is I'm trying to push it so that I'm almost getting that bar to jump off my back at the top, because I have enough acceleration in me where I should be locking out these squats really strong. Again, these box squats went pretty well. I did some heavy reverse band box squats the previous day, and my back was pretty fatigued, so I only used 225 in bar weight plus those monster mini bands, and that was definitely enough. I ended up doing 9 sets. They were all doubles with these, and they all felt pretty good. You'll notice in this next set, which was interesting, I train at a commercial gym. It's a university gym, and no matter how strong you are, you've always got somebody in that gym that is willing to stand right on top of your bar, especially when you're about to squat. So he was totally oblivious, but at least he was nice enough to get out of the way so that I could finish up my work. Here I am working on the tail end of these dynamic effort sets. Again, these felt really good, especially towards the end. I felt like I started getting faster. I cut a few hundredths of a second off of my concentric times on these speed squats, and I really didn't fatigue at all, which is good. You know, what I find when I do my dynamic effort training is that as these reps go along, I actually start to get faster rather than slower, which tells me that my work capacity is where I want it to be. If you're wondering about rest intervals, I'm using about 60-second rest intervals on this day. I did all my deadlifts that way, 60 seconds, and my squats were done in exactly the same fashion, 60 seconds. Sometimes I'll make it as short as 30 seconds. Sometimes for really heavy dynamic effort deadlifting, I'll make it as long as 90 seconds. But on this day, 60 seconds. So overall, happy with my speed on this day. Felt pretty good. I'll be back again, probably to tape either my bench press session tomorrow or my deadlift session on Sunday. Keep checking in. I'll see you then.